Hi, today's Web GIS project will be about religious affiliations. First, we're going to give a brief introduction. The introduction, Dr. Larry Bates from the psychology department is researching the topic, quote, bumper stickers across America and their various themes. Dr. Bates wishes to examine bumper sticker themes and conclude research with the most common expressions. His research will begin with topics of religious and ethnic diversity. Since some religious bumper stickers correspond with Dr. Bates's bumper sticker project, we will identify various religious affiliations across America and focus on religious denominations. Since this research project coincides with Dr. Bates' bumper sticker research, and will summarize Christian diversity across America while briefly introducing references to other religious affiliations such as Islam, Buddhism, and atheism. Dr. Bates requested that this theological affiliation research, especially Christian diversity, span across 20 American cities with no more than 3,000 residents. Data process. During this research, I was able to map 206 out of 229 congregations through the maximum congregations locations CSV data, which we'll show in a moment. The data source couldn't provide exact locations for the missing data, and so not all groups were mapped. Consequently, I couldn't find data in which to map other, quote, Christian affiliations. Other than Christian affiliations, but non-Christian affiliations became warranted through attribute data. During this religious diversity research project, a basic street web map from www.artgisonline.com became initiated for the mapping process. Next, data points were loaded through CSV data to distinguish individual attributes. Unfortunately, all the CSV data is dated 2010 as census takes place every 10 years, with exception to the rule codes 2013. Subsequently, though, some of the CSV data was deprived from PDFs, while the attribute data got modified into CSV data format for web mapping. For example, the following mapping CSV datasets, except for the rule codes 2013, derived from PDF formats, and the CSV files, which we'll show in a moment, are the max proportion of adherents in population, max congregations locations, and max adherent ratio. The CSV data derives from several sources. The PDF to CSV data sustains from the Association of Statisticians of American Religious Bodies website. Next, the attribute data sustains from the from the Association of the Religious Data Archives website. Lastly, I wanted more geocoding to further Dr. Bates' research, in which he proposed a future road trip. So the Rule Codes 2013 was maintained from the Department of Agriculture. So, for a brief moment, let's look at the CSV data, so we don't get too far ahead of ourselves. Here's a map legend, which we'll get into the widgets in a few minutes. Let's see, layers. Yep. Here we go. Max adherent. Let's just go ahead and launch this. Okay, here's the CSV data. Here's what my map looks like. Here's the attribute data that I couldn't get mapped. So let's see. We'll look at some of that attribute data right here. Religious bodies. I don't know why it's not clicking. Hold on. Okay, religious bodies. If it'll pop up, view attribute table. Okay. Here's an example of some of the attribute table for religious bodies. There was something like 229 total. Okay, next we're going to look at self-described religious identification of adults in population. Okay, we got year 1990, 2001, 2008, and when you scroll down, you'll see more of the non-Christian groups. I put those into their little group over here. You can kind of see it. Other than Christian, no religious specifications, which I'll have to scroll all the way down to show you those. Let's see. Yeah. Other religious total. Yeah, I'll start from the very beginning. Adult Christian total. Okay, and then we're going to scroll down. We're going to go to other than Christian in a moment. Let's see, other religious total. You can see the total numbers on that. Let's see. Start off with Jewish, Muslim, Buddhist, Wiccan, etc. Okay, no religion specified. Atheist, agnostic, humanistic. Okay, next. We're going to show Christian adherents and Jewish population. And this goes by each state. Yeah, I can't wait to see the 2020 data, but this has been a pretty interesting project. But you see right here, each state. Okay. Now we're going to do rule codes. This didn't really. We'll look at the attributes first. Wait a minute, where's the attributes? Well, anyway, here's the rural urban codes. You can it just shows more cities. There are 3,000, no less than 3,000. Or maybe you want to find small towns. Counties most adherent. You see it's spread. Okay, max ratio. Adherence max ratio. Here's the legend right here. Max congregation locations. I just kind of set this as a bar, and then yeah, I kind of set that up as heat points, and then max proportion of adherence. Yeah, we can go over here to the legend. All right, now we're going to go back to the PowerPoint. Just a moment, please. Okay, back to the PowerPoints. Well, that's not what I wanted. Okay, the technological process. Okay, I used Chapter 3. Chapter 3 became deemed as most appropriate for constructing this project, since the project is mainly for research. Additionally, Chapter 3's introduction to Web App Builder for ArcGIS and the platform's application of various widgets should enhance research within religious topics. When opened under the Web App Builder platform, the foldable theme display sets as the background, which we'll look at that in a moment, which unless y'all have already caught on to it. Under widgets, most of the default widgets became chosen for basic settings like scale, home, zooming, and latitude and longitude finder. Oops. A few other widgets became set like layers and attributes, legends, and base map. Lastly, 4 infographic widget templates were set. For example, when you look into the infographic templates, there's going to be a template for number, pie chart, bar, and column. So in my case, I use number for the max congregations locations data. Next, I use pie chart for max adherence ratio. Next, bar for max adherence in population. And lastly, column for counties' most adherence data, which we're going to take a look at. Okay, here's some of the widgets I used. I set a filter just in case for just general purpose. One kind of tells you directions. You can get directions from like a MapQuest. Let's see, base map gallery in case the user wants to change the base map. We did analysis, which I thought I deleted that one. Let's see, add data in case they have something to add or whatever. I think I had to configure that one, but let's see, draw. The user can draw, make drawings and etc. Let's see, layers and attributes. We've already gone over that. Which Dr. Bates, he was very happy with the data, and I think he'll probably be happy with his map. It'd be better if it had 2020 data. There's a few other mistakes which we'll go over in a few minutes. Here's a map legend. Yeah, which we went over that a few minutes ago. In Chapter 3, you know, we did a gauge and pie chart and all that stuff. You had over here on the left side. I didn't like that, so I liked them kind of floating. Oh, by the way, before I show you that, here's the foldable theme I was showing you. I think for Chapter 3 we used the billboard theme. or you might could have used anything you wanted to, but I like the foldable theme, so that's what I used. I like it up here. I can just click on it. Countries most adherent. Here's the bar. I was trying to get it. I was trying to get it to display the counties, the relevant information, like the church, county, and then this information, but it wasn't working too much. I think it's just too much information because there's like 229 congregations. So I still made these widgets. So as you see right here, for max proportions adherence population, if you look at the list, it's alphabetical order, and just whatever was at top, you compare that list to the numbers right here. So that's the best I could do for now for this one. This pi ratio, it looks cool, but it didn't turn out like I wanted it to. Like I said, there's 226 congregations, but only 206 get mapped, because the information just didn't give location information. It acknowledged them as a congregation, but didn't give their exact location, so it could be geocoded. So for this mapping, we're mapping 206 congregations. Let's see. Here's my location. Here's a full screen, and if you look down here, I got it set where you can give a latitude and longitude degrees. I got a scale bar, and I got a kind of a zoomer right here. These were kind of default widgets. Let's see. Go to the theme. Go to the widgets. I'll show you that. Yeah. See down here, I set these floating widgets down here, and then these are the ones that I adapted. All right. But as you can see, United States is a very religious country. This is definitely some data you could use if you want to take a road trip. So, but I think I'm going to go back to the slides. Okay. For my final thoughts, excuse me. For my final thoughts, finally there were, excuse me. Finally there were unforeseen challenges, as religious data research isn't commonly available. Surprisingly, though, the project wasn't as challenging to format as anticipated. Dr. Bates suggested the Association of Religious Archives website, which provides data or links to other information sources. Afterwards, this research required approximately 2 days to research to fully accomplish. Correspondingly, I favored the pop-up features of Chapter 2 for each location, but the data is too extent, and time comes into a factor for accomplishing this project. Just for my own thoughts, in 2010, I heard a pastor talk about the decline of Christianity and how Christianity may legally cease to exist in a lifetime. First, in my opinion, I hope Christianity doesn't cease to exist, as it would become replaced with another form of religion which may not be favorable. Secondly, I propose a question with an almost unattainable answer. Is it actually possible to compare actual believers with the general population? The answer to this question would differ according to how you ask, and gaining a single conclusion is least likely. But Dr. Bates gave some food for thought. Dr. Bates stated that in a nutshell, more political power equals fewer believers and vice versa, meaning that the best way to estimate religious faith in an area is to observe the role of government within the community. So I think that concludes this lesson, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.